Stay ready. If you've been feeling distant or drawn inward lately, take it as a sign. You're not breaking down, you're being prepared. Something significant is shifting beneath the surface, and the universe is already moving pieces into place. The final 3 days of May aren't ordinary. Most won't notice, but if you felt the urge to step back, to turn the noise down and retreat inward, that's your intuition tuning into something real, choosing signal over static. Let's be clear, being too surrounded right now could actually block what's trying to reach you. These days carry a subtle, sacred energy. Even the slightest chaos, rushed thoughts, emotional noise, distractions can blur the message meant for you. So what about you? Have you been sensing this quiet, isolating pull too? Drop a comment if this resonates, and if you feel led, share 999 with your thoughts. It's more than a number. It's a symbol of closure, of alignment, and the gateway to clarity this shift is inviting you to walk through. And watch out, because something special is taking place on May 30th. Most people won't see it coming, but if you do, it could change the way you experience everything. Keep watching, because I'll reveal exactly what it is later on. But first, there's something else you need to hear, something that wants to speak. What's quiet now will echo in the days to come. There's something forming behind the scenes. You can't see it yet, and it won't announce itself. But it's there, a sequence, a pattern, a revelation. And when June hits, it won't speak through signs or symbols. It will speak through events, moments that feel designed, encounters that feel placed. These last 3 days of May are not the ending. They're the stillness before the transmission begins. Your job isn't to figure it all out. It's to tune your receiver. Stay quiet enough to know the difference between static and signal. You don't want to miss this, because if you're listening now, you won't have to ask questions later. Each day is a gate, and not all gates are meant to be rushed. The last 3 days of May aren't just the end of a calendar page. They're structured, intentional, a triad. Each day is a chamber. Each chamber holds a key. And if you move through them with awareness, something unlocks in you that doesn't just fade when the month flips. May 29th is the mind. You may feel mentally scattered or even unusually sharp, like your thoughts are vibrating at a different speed. That's because the first gate is psychological. It's not about fixing or fighting your thoughts. It's about noticing them. Pay close attention to what your mind gravitates toward during this day. The themes, the loops, the ideas that show up again and again. They're not random. They're pointing to what's asking to be recoded. May 30th is the body. This is when you'll feel things physically. Fatigue might show up in strange ways, or you could feel sudden surges of energy. Sensitivity to food, sound, even temperature may heighten. The second gate doesn't open unless you're listening to the language of your body. Not numbing, not distracting, listening. This is the time to anchor yourself in breath, movement, and rest. It's not weakness to slow down right now. It's a requirement. May 31st is the spirit, the last chamber. And this one doesn't respond to logic. It only opens when you're still enough to hear what doesn't speak in words. If you've honored the 2 days before, this is where the message drops in. You may not even know what it means at first, but something aligns. And when that spiritual key turns, it doesn't just unlock something within you, it locks out what no longer belongs. This is why isolation isn't just a preference during this period. It's a tool, a container, a shield. You don't enter sacred space with the whole world tagging along. You enter with intention and alone. Every chamber demands a different kind of silence. So as you move through these final days of May, treat each one like a ritual. 3 steps, 3 locks, 3 thresholds. You're not just watching time pass. You're crossing into a new frequency. What you learn in solitude is not meant to be shared right away. Not everything you download is meant to be uploaded, especially now. If something powerful comes to you during these days, an image, a realization, a strange coincidence, a dream that lingers longer than it should, don't rush to post about it. Don't rush to talk about it. Don't rush to make sense of it. There's a sacred energy to what comes through silence, and when you expose it too early, it can evaporate before it fully takes root in you. Some truths need time to echo inside of you before they become language. Think of it like this. When a message comes during these days, it's not a broadcast, it's a seed. Let it sit in the soil of your awareness for a bit. Let it shift your shape quietly. There will be time to share it, but not now. Too many people treat spiritual insight like social currency. But this window isn't about validation, it's about incubation. You're receiving codes. And codes aren't meant to be shown off, they're meant to be lived. Isolation, again, isn't about disconnection, it's about spiritual safekeeping. What you hold in silence now could become the very thing that speaks for you later. Some messages don't survive exposure. They were born in stillness, and they must grow there too. So if something hits you during these days, let it hit. Let it settle, because what's coming in June will test whether you listened or just talked. Not all days are created equal. Some are awake while others are asleep. May 30th is very much awake. There's something about May 30th that hums. It doesn't scream. It doesn't announce itself. But if you stop long enough, if you get quiet enough, you'll feel it. This day doesn't just pass like the others. It pulses. And once you notice it, you won't be able to unfeel it. May 30th is the heartbeat day. An energetic midpoint, a living rhythm that syncs itself with your system, amplifying whatever's already inside you. Think of it like spiritual sonar. Whatever you're sending out, thoughts, emotions, intentions, bounces back harder. This day mirrors you, but not gently. It magnifies, it echoes, it pulses. Lately, have you been feeling odd waves of déjà vu? Maybe you've been noticing repeating numbers or flickers in your awareness. You're not broken, you're in resonance. This day hasn't arrived yet, but we're already feeling it. This day scans your signal, not to punish you, but to give you clarity. Energetic truth reveals itself in silence, not in noise. The reason May 30th feels more real than other days is because it's a calibration point. It exposes distortions. If you've been pushing something down, distracting yourself, ignoring your intuition, this day doesn't let you get away with that. And the strangest part, you might not even understand what's happening intellectually, but your body will. Some people will feel restless and won't know why. Others may be emotionally raw or unusually energized. You may even feel both at once. Don't try to fix it, just notice it. This day isn't asking you to act, it's asking you to attune. Because if you can feel the heartbeat, if you can recognize the pulse without panicking, then you're syncing with something far deeper than a calendar. You're syncing with the architecture of this spiritual moment. This day is alive, and whether or not you choose to listen, it's already listening to you. When dreams speak during sacred windows, they're not asking for attention, they're giving instruction. These aren't your usual dreams. Between May 29th and 31st, your dream space becomes an altered channel. It's not soft, it's not fuzzy, it's not metaphorical in the usual sense. Dreams during this period carry weight, not because they're more vivid, but because they're deliberate, intentional, authoritative. You may find yourself waking up with entire conversations echoing in your mind, conversations you didn't recognize but somehow knew. You may see people you haven't thought about in years, or symbols that feel both ancient and personal. Some of you might even wake up tired, like you spent the entire night elsewhere. You didn't just have a dream, you received transmission. Don't rush to decode it. This isn't about overanalyzing or Googling symbolism or trying to break it down like a riddle. The messages you receive now don't want to be understood. They want to be remembered, stored, lived. Let them imprint on you. And don't worry if they don't make sense yet. They're not late, they're early. Some dreams are not asking for meaning, they're planting it. Some of you will notice dream loops, scenes repeating, slightly altered each night. Don't dismiss that. That's not coincidence, that's reinforcement. That's something trying to speak clearly because you haven't fully received it yet. Others might get dream fragments, quick flashes that feel like pieces of a longer narrative. That's okay. It's not unfinished. It's sequenced. It's meant to unfold in stages, not all at once. And if you feel like your dreams are silent, pay attention to your waking life, because during this window, the veil between waking and dreaming isn't as solid as usual. You may find your dreams bleeding through into ordinary moments. Déjà vu, sudden emotion, irrational clarity. That's a dream speaking through the day. So whether it's loud or quiet, clear or confusing, beautiful or terrifying, listen. You're not imagining it, you're being briefed. Because when June arrives, what came in dreams may start showing up in reality. Not every thought is yours. Some are frequencies trying to return home through you. Have you noticed it? The same thought keeps circling back, no matter what you do, what you distract yourself with. It returns, softly, sharply, or suddenly. A person, a moment, a possibility, a sentence you didn't finish saying. A future you almost stepped into. This isn't obsession, it's resonance. This is what I call the moth effect. Just like moths are instinctively drawn to light, your consciousness, in these final days of May, is being pulled toward unresolved frequencies. Not because you're stuck, but because something in you recognizes it's time. Time to reintegrate what's been scattered, to repurpose what's been misunderstood. You're not revisiting these thoughts because you're broken. You're revisiting them because you're aligned enough now to understand them differently. The mind repeats what the soul is ready to rewrite. This isn't about trauma or triggers. It's about energy orbiting back toward its center, and you are that center. So if you find yourself drawn towards something right now, an idea, a memory, even a new curiosity you can't explain, don't swat it away like a nuisance. Let it hover, let it glow. The things that loop during this window aren't distractions, they're messengers. Some of you may feel like you're being called back to a version of yourself you left behind. A dream you once had but dropped. An idea that once felt too far away. That's not regression, that's reclamation. Because sometimes the things that return to you in moments of stillness are the ones that were never meant to leave in the first place. Watch your thoughts now, not with judgment, but with attention. What keeps calling you might be calling you forward, not back. When the clock hesitates, the veil breathes. In the quiet corners of ancient timekeeping, there were days that didn't belong, days that were feared, days that were left unwritten. You won't hear much about them, they're not on the surface. But in some of the older and more obscure systems, pre-Columbian, Mesopotamian, even early Egyptian, there existed what were known as the lost days, the hollow days, or even the unheld space. They weren't quite part of one cycle and not yet part of the next. They were between, floating, unanchored, not governed by the same patterns as the rest of the year. And what's wild, these days, May 29th, 30th and 31st, feel eerily similar. You might feel like time is moving, but not forward, like you're doing things, but they're not quite real. You might even notice the days blur into each other, not in the usual busy way, but in a way that feels strangely soft. Like reality itself isn't fully gripping. Some days are written in ink, others are written in breath. In ancient lore, it was believed that during these forgotten spaces, reality became more permeable, not dangerous, but more interactive. Not everything obeyed the rules, and not everything you encountered could be seen with the eyes. You may find your intuition louder in solitude. You may feel presence around you, not haunting, but observing. These aren't things to fear. These are the quiet currents of spiritual life that only approach when the outer world dims, when the world is between beats. They arrive, ideas, signs, whispers of something waiting just outside the visible, energetic creatures, forms of guidance, not menace, that check in during these liminal zones when you're finally alone enough to hear them. This is why ancient timekeepers warned, don't fill the hollow days with noise. Don't pretend they're normal, because they're not. They are bridges without names. And if you walk them with presence, you'll hear things you were never meant to hear in the noise of the regular calendar. Some doors in the mind don't open with logic. They open when everything else goes quiet. As these final days of May stretch thin across your awareness, don't be surprised if your mind begins pulling forward the strangest images. You might find yourself suddenly remembering a hallway from a house you never lived in, a swing set that doesn't exist on any map, a classroom you swore was part of your childhood, but no one else recalls. This isn't confusion, it's activation. What you're tapping into are internal landmarks, fragments of personal myth, past life memory, spiritual residue, or even energetic architecture that has been lying dormant within you. We all carry these private rooms in our consciousness, and most of the time we walk right past their locked doors. But these days, these final 3, they stir something different. The combination of cosmic quiet and spiritual density creates the perfect climate for these phantom places to switch back on. Just because something didn't happen in the physical world doesn't mean it's not part of your story. You may see places in your dreams or meditations that don't follow logical time, a tree that pulses, a staircase that leads to a familiar void. These aren't errors, they're codes. You don't decode them by analyzing, you decode them by experiencing them without resistance. There is a cartography happening beneath the surface, an internal map of places you've only felt flashes of. Think of it as your soul giving you back the blueprints to your deeper architecture, the corridors between past lives, the storage rooms of unfinished purposes, the garden gates of forgotten desires. But you won't find these places in conversation. You won't find them in distraction, scrolling, or movement. They activate in silence, in solitude, in presence. When you're no longer trying to be somewhere else, they open. So if a memory or image comes that feels oddly vivid, oddly detailed, or just a bit too alive for your current moment, follow it. You might be unlocking a forgotten part of yourself that has something very important to tell you now. And once you walk into that room in your mind, you'll never forget it again. Sometimes the absence isn't about what left. It's about what's preparing to arrive. Have you ever felt it? That strange, weightless awareness that someone is missing from the room, even when there's no one supposed to be there in the first place. You sit in your space. Everything seems normal, and yet there's this unmistakable gap, a pull, a presence in the absence. Like an invisible chair has been pulled up beside you, and you can almost feel its outline in the air. That's the empty chair. This is a phenomenon that shows up when your energy field begins creating space, not out of loss or grief, but out of invitation. The soul, during periods of deep spiritual recalibration, begins clearing psychic ground for what's coming. That missing someone feeling isn't always about someone you lost. Sometimes it's a preparation for someone who hasn't entered your life yet, or, even more intriguingly, it could be the version of you that's on their way in. There are parts of you waiting for permission to arrive, and they need space first. These next few days will challenge you to sit with that psychic vacancy. Don't try to fill it. Don't rush to solve it. Let it breathe. Because this space you're feeling is intelligent. It's not a void. It's a cradle. It's being formed so something meaningful can take shape. A new connection, a higher level of consciousness, or a soul piece that had splintered off during previous transitions. The empty chair is a sign that something's about to enter your field. And if you try to fill it with noise, with people, with explanations, you might block the very presence it was meant to hold. So when that feeling visits, that eerie sense that something or someone is almost there, just beyond the veil, don't panic. Don't distract yourself from it. That's not loneliness. That's spiritual readiness. Let the chair stay empty. For now. The right presence will know when to sit down. If you don't slow down now, you'll miss the cue. And when the curtain rises, you won't be ready. May 29th to 31st aren't just quiet days. They're your spiritual cue sheet. The final alignment. The subtle urges to withdraw, the strange dreams, the inner stillness. They're signals, not side effects. June is not another month. It's the performance. It moves faster, hits harder, and reveals what's been in the works all year. But it doesn't explain. It unfolds. And if you're not in sync, you'll miss it. Not by a mile, but by a moment. This isn't reflection. It's choreography. The universe is setting your stage. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to listen. And true listening only happens in stillness. That's why isolation now is sacred. It's your private rehearsal. Think of an actor. The most important work isn't on the stage. It's in the silent prep, the breath before the entrance. That's what these days are. If you rush through them, you'll still enter June, but everything will feel just a beat behind, like life is happening half a second too late. This isn't fear. It's a reminder. You have a private appointment with the unseen. Don't miss it. Let the world keep spinning. Let the phone rest in silence. Be still with your breath. Be still with the quiet. Because when June arrives, you'll know exactly where you belong. If you're still here, thank you for your time and presence. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing. Your support means the world. Feel free to share your thoughts or reflections in the comments below. Until we meet again, stay well and subscribe for more mindful moments.